What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you about NIO, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down, what it's battling with, and the latest in stimulus updates. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, NIO is down slightly, 0.48%. It did have a nice push higher as soon as the market did open to roughly around $5.27. Even just generally looking at the pre-market, this was very bland. So it kind of showed that it was being suppressed in some fashion. But aside from that, 2.7 million shares being traded within the first 15 minutes of the trading day. So today is going to be a relatively heavy volume day. 82.07 mil is the average. And so right now it is battling with the technicals. So quickly popping over to IBKR. As you can see, it is kind of flirting with that 50-day moving average, which right now is at $5.19. And then aside from that, you do have the 200-day moving average at $5.14. So as it stands, both very strong support levels. So it's kind of just battling with that because you do have at the same time shorts really wanting to suppress NIO. So I'll go over that in a second, but right now looking at MACD, relatively bearish. Stochastic, you see it very oversold, and it's kind of done this in the past. It usually goes opposite extremes, but yeah, right now it is just more of a technical battle. And then plus a lot of people are digesting exactly what has been coming out, but nothing official associated to NIO itself. No SEC filings, nothing like that. So it's kind of just piggybacking off of just the broader market for the most part. But this did come out over the weekend. So ultimately, it looks like there was some developments. So an analyst did state that it was roughly going to be around $702 billion essentially of stimulus. And this is going to be based on incremental policies. So ultimately, that would be rate cuts, just infrastructure spending, money given out to various entities out there. But no actual definitive details, because in my opinion, if $702 billion was officially kind of mentioned and also kind of how that's going to be broken out, NIO would be easily at 9, 10, or even well above that. But because of no real details given, it is what it is. So it's kind of interesting. You do have both opposite spectrums, both in the States as well as China. You have some analysts saying in the States saying that, well, if inflation data is going down, you don't really need to cut rates. So essentially that could translate over to China, in my opinion, because like I brought up, the data that did come out recently was absolutely phenomenal, and that is kind of an understatement. But as of right now though, shorts are increasing around 53,000 shares. 13.06% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 174.37 million shares. Generally with shorts, they have been increasing slowly and steadily ever since the low of roughly on September the 24th, where the short interest was 12.15%. So shorts have just been lingering, and that's one thing that I've been stating for a while, ever since it looks like around June. They've been just keeping that 14% range. Did get obviously go down a little bit, but yeah, it's interesting. I think they're just waiting for a very big market correction possibly, or just bad data to justify really doubling down. But utilization is 96.99, and then short score is 74.89. Quickly looking at options, obviously you have to take this with a grain of salt, because like I said, the market's only been open a short time period, but 294,000 in calls, 121,000 in puts. 56% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish, and of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 550 or possibly sub 6, and then the puts are anticipating for it to be sub. Oddly, you have some abnormal amount at the $4 strike price, so between 5 to 4 or sub that amount. So kind of interesting points, but as of right now, there has been no transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So the majority of the volume is coming from algorithmic trading as well as shorts, and this is why you see in the pre-market not much activity, because big money wasn't really doing all that much. And as of right now, it kind of looks like it is bouncing off of that 50-day moving average that I did point out previously. But as it stands with it at $5.21, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 5.18 is going to be a strong support. So that's that S1 right there. And then the pivot is $5.30. So it kind of bounced off of that general area, but NIO seems to be piggybacking right now off of the extreme greed in the market right now. So people's appetite for risk is on the table. And I did a pre-market video under my other YouTube channel, Trending Stocks, and there was a hell of a lot of stocks that had absolutely no news whatsoever, and they were up 100+%, several of them. So I think just people's appetite for risk is on the table, and that could really stand to benefit NIO. But like I said, I think just, and for those of you that have been in NIO for the greater part of like 2+ years, you know NIO gets manipulated quite significantly. Big money just does not give two craps about it, despite the relatively deep discount that it's at in relation to what it actually does offer operationally. But it is what it is. Let me know you guys' thoughts on NIO. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Do you think this is the week that NIO is going to recover? Or do you think that shorts are going to break it down a little bit more on a technical level? Because of course, I think that's their end goal ultimately, is for shorts just to bring NIO down below that 50 and 200-day moving average. And then once it does happen, as far as that, then they'll be in somewhat of a free fall. So it's if you do believe in NIO, I think you do have to think long term. A lot of my videos are just kind of short-term stuff, what is happening today, what is going to happen over the next week for the most part. But if you do, like I said, believe in NIO bigger picture, then take advantage of these prices essentially, because even over the last 1 month, it is up 2.94. Over the last 6 months, still up 30.5%. So you could kind of have to take that into consideration. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. 2 things. Take advantage of this promo. It does give you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so that is a kick-ass deal. And as well, I did launch memberships with this channel. So if you like the NIO content, want to support the channel, you can definitely do so. Or if you just want buy signals on stocks and options, there is a tier for that as well. So with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.